Hello, I'm Nancy Crane. I am playing Mrs. Wire in Vieux Carre, or Carre, as Mrs. Wire would say, at the King's Head, and I am having tea with Wilma. Well, I am from San Luis Obispo, California, which was voted the nicest little town in America. This I found after I'd left there. And I came here when I was 18. I went to Central School of Speech and Drama. And the reason I went to Central is I decided I wanted to go to the same drama school that Vanessa Redgrave had gone to. I was like, that's where I have to go. So amazingly, I did. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So I never intended to stay here, but 30 years on, I'm still here. So, you know, funny, but it's been really lucky because being an American, I've been in the right place at the right time for some really wonderful new work, which I've done a lot of. And one of those was Angels in America, the original production at the National. And I most recently, the Children's Hour last year in the West End. And that was fantastic because wonderful cast. And it was all women. There's 2 guys in it. The great thing is I'm going on to do a telly in September after this, which is, it's Harry Shearer, who is in The Simpsons and who's in a lot of the Christopher Guest films like Spinal Tap. And Harry is obsessed with Richard Nixon. And so he has adapted the tapes, the White House tapes, to a sitcom about the Nixon White House called Nixon's the One. And we did a pilot last year that went out, and so we're going to do 6 more episodes, and I'm playing his secretary, Rosemary Woods. So we had great. It was fantastic. We had a great time doing it. So I'm really looking forward to it. And what's really interesting about this play is that Tennessee Williams lived in this rooming house, actually 722 Toulouse, as a young man. He had a landlady who was very much like Mrs. Wire, whose name was Mrs. Anderson, who opened a lunchroom, who poured boiling water through the floor of the downstairs tenants, who got hauled off to night court. And he worked over many decades with these characters and new characters and trying to mold this story. And I think he's sort of like a Almodovar in one way, that he has these kind of characters that they keep coming. He keeps working on these. They're kind of similar characters in different scenarios. But this one is really about him. And Robert Trevorrow, who's the director, who's wonderful, and he did this, the wonderful sort of analogy that's sort of like lifting up, opening Tennessee Williams' head and just kind of like looking inside it. And that's what this is. Oh no, that's hard. Oh my God, I don't know. It changes. Today, hot. No, but that's hot. No, I'm. Oh, this is embarrassing to say. Sensitive. Kind of. I can be kind of arrogant, and that's bad. But I just have to admit it. It's not a word, but I find life wonderful. So I'm a bit wonderstruck quite a lot of the time. I'm happy. It's one of those things when you read it, you just go, oh, okay. I mean, there's sort of no question. It's not like, let me weigh this up. There are lots of things you can read. I mean, and I'm there was a play earlier this year that I had to film. I just can't do it. I can't even go up for the thing. Because I talked to a friend of mine who we worked together before. Actually, we were Designed for Living together at the Old Vic, and she's wonderful. And she said, I told her about this play and this part, and she went, we're too old and too tired and too mean. We can't do these things anymore. And I said, no, I just can't. But something like this, you don't even think about it. It's just like, it's fabulous. It's sort of I love Tennessee Williams, and I think it's a huge privilege to get to deal with late Tennessee Williams. I mean, to play Mrs. Wire is fantastic. She's sort of everything. I mean, she runs the gamut from, A to Z. Yes, I always go over my lines. I I listen to music. And so I do a kind of obsessive thing for shows, for every show I do. I end up doing a playlist, and I always think I'm not going to do it, and then I end up doing it. And then I think it becomes a ritual. So I have to then listen to certain things in the playlist. And sometimes I read certain things before I go on. You know, it's really interesting because I thought it might be quite freaky. But I did a show at the Orange Tree a couple of years ago, and the Orange Tree is actually, the audience is lit, and it is a bit, the first time you go, it's like, whoa, oh, hi, everybody. Oh my God, it's in the round. It's like, yes, oh wow, you can't, there's no hiding. And here it's actually, you don't see the audience. It does, I was thinking, oh God, it's so nice to just have this black void. It's so nice in the, you know, in a bigger theater, but actually it's been quite nice, this sort of, there's an energy that you don't have that kind of void. It's all vroom, it's all kind of the whole. I think the whole room is quite charged, and so I'm actually really enjoying it. But you know the things that go that are fun, they're not actually very funny, and I think it's this sort of terrible hysteria that you keep at bay. But actually, I remember, and this just springs to mind, something that happened in Design for Living. And I was on stage with Lisa Dillon, we were talking, but there's a statue, and she was saying something like, oh, I said, where did you get this statue? She said, we were motoring through Italy, and we bought it in Vienna. And for some reason, we both looked at each other and went, and we could not stop it. We had to turn up stage. I mean, and we got to go off it halfway through the scene, and we were, crying. And I couldn't look at her for a week. We could not look at each other, because for some reason, the word Vienna had become like hilariously fun. Anybody else would be like, oh, yeah. But yeah, I think it's that suppressed hysteria that sometimes just comes out. I saw Prom last night. It was very good. But the last show I think it was Belong upstairs at the Court, which was I thought wonderful, and a dear friend of mine, Pamela Lambette, was in it. She was fantastic. That's a really good question. Oh, that's such a good question. Oh, I'd like to do everything. You see, that's my problem. I can't. Yes, I should be more focused. Like, well, I'm like, yeah, bring it on. So, I haven't done a musical for many, many years, and I would love to do a musical. Actually, now that I'm older, I probably might be able to swing it. Yeah, I'd like to do that. Oh, Bryony Lavery, I love her work, and I would love to do another one of Bryony's plays. Yeah, I'd like to do but I like doing new work, so that's why I'm a bit sort of. I really enjoyed doing Noel Coward. I really, really enjoyed that. Okay, it was really weird. I remember the first kind of week, because I was there's a scene which was on this very grand New York apartment, and everyone was wearing sort of white tie and tails and evening gowns and furs and things and drinking. And I remember sitting on stage, you could see the sort of old Vic, the kind of, the horseshoe of it. And I was sitting there thinking, God, this is just like being in a play. Thinking, oh my God, I am in a play. But it was just so, like, right. I mean, it was just surreal. It was fab. I liked that. And again, wonderful writing. So, yeah, good writing, that's what I want to do. And I love Sondheim. I really love Sondheim. So Joanne and Company, I'd love to play. That I would like. Well, where do I begin? It's a great production. I think it is wonderful acting. And I think it is very truthful. I think it's a production that Tennessee Williams would have liked. And it's a play that I think is very rarely performed. And I think it's a great privilege. It is a great privilege to get to do it. I have to say that. And I think as a theatre going, getting to see, and whatever you think about it as a play, because I don't care what people think about it, but just to get to kind of connect the dots of his work and to see this piece, I think it's important.